Hi everyone and Pak Budi. So we are from Delta Group. Want to present our discussing about the case of Marcia Green,
which is about proportional and rationality.
and about her classroom and her experience.
Yes, enjoy the video.
Okay, I would like to little explain about the Marcia. Marcia is a teacher in 7th grade. She tried to analyzing the learning and teaching that occur in her class. He explained about the rationale using rubber band and stretcher. And I will show the visualization by using rubber band and stretcher. So I have two rubber band, and I will tie the two rubber band together like this, and I draw the picture like this, and I save the knot in here and press the point in here and in here. So I try to draw the same picture like this, and this.
So, who is Marcia Green? Marcia Green has been teaching for 17 years in urban classroom. Marcia Green has an elementary teacher degree, and she's enjoy in working and teaching mathematics in Dalton School. Why she enjoy about her working? So because the Dalton School has new curriculum and method of teaching mathematics of stress learning math with meaning and understanding, and Dalton School provide time for math teacher to collaborate. It gives the opportunity for a math teacher to collaborate the method of teaching in mathematics. During this new curriculum, 7th grade students have misconception about relationship between denominator and numerator. So, finally, Marcia and his friend as a teacher use a method of teaching math is proportional reasoning. Proportional reasoning is a form of math reasoning that involves a sense of covariation and of multiple comparison and the ability to mentally store and process several pieces of information. Dalton reform of a new curriculum make Marcia's classroom improve of their study in math. So, Marcia helped the student by showing a genuine concern for their learning and by initially sparking their interest to engage with new material. So, Marcia encouraged her student to be active in discussing ideas. But one thing, she's struggling, even her students still didn't respectful with ideas that they do not agree with. For example, if some student didn't show that respect for other student ideas in discussing of the given concept, it would be Marcia's considering in teaching math. Marcia talks about her class. So, even Marcia's student still late to study ratio and proportion problems, but Marcia still devoted to various of ration and proportion problem and tackle time of unit rate problems. And Marcia closed the year with the lessons that were useful in real life, appropriate and incorporate math skills. What math skills in Marcia's classroom? Marcia has an expectation of math skill for students, such as finding equivalent fraction, using division to find unit rate, using multiplication to scale up certain number of units, using trick of cross multiplying. After the first implementing of new curriculum of Dalton School, Marcia and her friend as a teacher decide to give a proportional reasoning prime throughout the daily warm-up exercise. The daily warm-up exercise may ask students to form ratio and answer questions based on the object given by the picture. So, the advantage of this daily warm-up exercise is students able to determine and describe ratio as a part or part whole, find equivalent ratios, devise intuitive method using rates, proportional problems by drawing picture or making a table. So, after the 7th grade, Marcia student has developed many ideas and ready to explore further concept. Then they allow to study the ideas of similarity. Scale factor and ratio proportion could be developed in transformation that shrink on large picture. This lesson pushes students' intuitive notion a little further. The step to start the lesson in little further of intuitive notion for a student, the first one is from an intuitive visual definition by showing similar figures, the same shape but different size. And the second one is realize the area of an enlarged figure has increased by a different factors than the length of corresponding side. This step would be developed and strengthened throughout the unit. So the advantage of each step, the first is when the student understand about initial definition, the student able to enhance and discover the difference between similar or not similar figures. Visual definition as a representation allows students to see precise relationship between scale factors and are similar figure. For example, x squared by scale factor of x. And the second step, when students realize the area of enlarged figure, student able to provide their opportunity to utilize the idea of similarity.
That is what she hoped from the student. So she want the student to understand about the rationality and proportional. When she start the class, she distribute the material that start from the rubber band, paper, pencil, and then the tape. Before all the students doing the activity, she showed how the activity will be begin. So she give the example on the front, and the student need to keep attention on her. The student keep attention on what she is doing. After she done with his example on the front, she asked the student to follow what has he done. At the first time, most of the students get difficulty because the rubber band is not easy to be stretched in. To make a good picture. A good figure. Here's what she did in the class. When she want to teach the student, the first time that she did was he give illustration to the student. So she give the example first to the student, and the student keep attention on her. She illustrate how the way we draw the picture with rubber band and then pencil. So it will show how the way of the activity. After she has finished with the activity, she asked the student to do it with their partner. Anyway, at the first time, the students feel like they all enjoy the activity. Meanwhile, in the first activity, they feel like it is really difficult to make the picture in a good way because the rubber sometimes it's not in neatly. But they always try and try again and try again. So she tried to motivate the student, don't give up, please try it again and try it again. However, there are two students that feel that they're already giving up with the activity because it is really hard to make the figure. So they make their own picture. At the first time, she was shocked. I mean, because that two students did not follow the instruction. She come to the student and say, "Wow, that was a good picture. This is the best one." Then she tells to the student, "Why don't you make the same figure with like the other one that have done?" Then at the first time, the students feel like, "No, miss, it's really hard. It's better for me to make the other one." But Mrs. Marcia Green said, "You still need to do the first one." In the end of the activity, the teacher in here is Marcia Green asked the student to do some observation on the activity that have they done. So there is the student say the Marcia asked the student what the difference is between the figure. Their students say it's double. It's what is it? It's getting bigger. But so there are so many opinion from the student, and they all gather all the opinion, and then she tried to explain to student that's what's the meaning of similar figure. So she explained in mathematics, similar figure means that figure with the same shape but different size. After that, she asked the student to measure the length, the side of the triangle and the square. Then it's known that the first figure is only 2.5 centimeter, and then the student and the class all conclude that the next figure is around 5 centimeter. Then she asked the student, "What do you think, guys? What's the relation between the first figure and the second figure?" What Marcia's mean is about the length of the first figure and the second figure. Then some of them say, "Miss, it's double," and then it's getting larger twice from the first one. Most of the students could understand how it's from 2.5 become 5. Even there is some students say it's because of the length is added by 2.5, and then there is it's twice of 2.5. When they finish with the side of the triangle and the square, they continue with the area and the perimeter. Marcia Green want the student understand what the relation between the perimeter from the first figure to the second figure, and then also the area from the first figure to the second figure.
Marcia Green and the fellow teachers in Dalton wants to erase students' misconceptions about part-whole relationships expressed by the numerator and the denominator of affections. She said that this is a very crucial step for her students. It related to students' development in understanding and developing mathematical thinking, especially when now they are in 7th grade. What she used in this method to gain students' understanding of fraction concept is very creative and good. Looking by, students are enjoying, showing enthusiasm, and they are showing their expression of understanding and thinking out loud, and in the first activity of the rubber band. She can do another tool like compass for decreasing time spent for preparing the rubber band and to distribute it to the entire class. It is more simple if she can ask students to bring compass from their home. Guessing on what Miss Green would put in the homework, maybe she will put the same exact activity, but the different shape for the sake of students to get this activity in their long-term memory. The moment where she asks students to measure without mentioning what tool will they use in this activity is also to gain the understanding of the proportion. And what Miss Green did was, I found it in the reading, and it's that Miss Green spends her lessons in effectively. This might happen because students' non-understanding is quite complicated, so that she spent more time in one day of the learning hours.
I just concerned about when how she encouraged the student to follow the activity, because there were some students that they doesn't want to follow the instruction, but she tried to remind them, but without say, hey, you are doing wrong. But she checked like if, hey, your figure is quite good, but you still need to follow how if you do you do like the other one. That's what I mean. I don't know. See.
From my perception, that when we read the book, we can know about the Marcia's experience, and the aim of the opening activity is to focus the development of professional experience. And we know about the Dalton Middle School, the system school, because the Dalton School has reformed for a new curriculum and method of teaching, especially for math. And then we know that the Marcia's and her colleagues in teaching math by using a proportional reasoning.
And I think a content of book is very good and make a reader understand about the concept.
I think that I still don't understand about the last material, when I think she just mentioned that I hope the student know it is multiplication, not addition. But I don't get it whether she explained to the student or not. Directly tell the student whether it is a multiplication, not an addition.
I think Marcia is a good teacher because she's still concerned of the learning outcomes of her math class, because she focused on the math skill that student would have, such as finding equivalent fraction, using the division to find the unit rate, and using multiplication to scale up a certain number, and using trick of cross multiplying. And there is an exercise will encourage students to know a further concept of the ratio and proportion. Is about a daily warm-up exercise. The advantage is student able to determine and describe a ratio part or part whole. And Marcia still concerned with the class discussion about the ratio given by the figure.
The method she used in the classroom was very interesting, using the rubber band concepts. It teaches me that teaching something which is very quite difficult, because students need to gain an understanding about the ratio. And what Marcia did is she gave a simple activity that will achieve the goal, which is the students' understanding about that ratio, meaning that she is very creative about finding the activities that rubber band thinks.
That's all from our group discussion, and thank you for your watching, and bye bye.
See you.
See.